Howdy lovelies, how are you all doing? Welcome back to our crafting, where we learn, grow and craft together. In today's session of our accordion journal, we are going to make a collage folder. You can call it a mini folio, a journal insert, a booklet, just what you want to call it. But there are many different names referring to the same thing. And I want to show you that you don't have to use vintage papers. You don't have to just use paper for that scrap pieces. I'm going to show you today how to make a collage folder using some printables. So without further ado, let's get started. So last session we decorated our journal cards and we used a master board from a previous session and we cut it out and we kept it waiting for us. Now I still think it needs a little bit of something, maybe a bit of gold here and there. I'll see in a little while, but let's get started with our folio. Now, seeing that our journal, it's already in the box, it's ready for us. We can add little things. There's a space, we've got the photo frames, more photo frames, a pocket there, another flap with a photo frame, a pocket. We can make various ones of these. We have another pocket there, and we've got that beautiful belly band with a fold out as well. More photo frames in there. I know you are out of frame, so I'll bring that in so you can see that. And there is plenty of space to journal, and a asymmetric pocket on the side, and it's then attached to our box. Now remember, we can't go totally wild with this because there's very little space left when this is closed. But let's see if this will close if we add a pin to it and see if it will close. Not completely. So we can't have something as thick as that in there. Let's see a normal pencil, and there we have it. So we have a little bit of space left. Now for the collage folio or journal insert, I will refer to it as a journal insert. I'm quickly going to open my container. I use these repurposed, reused plastic containers. Normally takeaways and things around here are sent home with that. I want to use these little printables from Digi and SVG Designs for you. As I said, this stuff is really amazing. I printed this a couple of times. There's a number from an embossing folder that landed up there. It's not bothering me. I will use it at some stage, but we will be using that today. I grabbed some scrap paper. I've got these tiny bits. I never throw them away. These bits are really very thin. It is 100 GSM cardstock from a previous project. Well, various previous different projects. I can't say it was from one specific one that we can use. You can see I sometimes use it for ink splashing or any of those. This we used from one of my other tips and tricks. I showed you how to make your own specimen cards. If you do not have a die or a punch that can do that for you, then you can cut this out. And I simply took one of these, folded it over. Don't want to reiterate everything. Rounded the corners, used one of the ink, Distress Inks Oxides, can't remember which it was, and I just traced it more or less in the middle. And then I had cut out tiny little squares from each side there and cut this out on one side. Now you can cut it out on both sides. How do I cut from here? If I trace something, I will use my box cutter and just slit out at the bottom of there where it's a straight edge, make a slit for myself, and then cut it out with a pair of scissors. So that was that, but we can use this one also if we want to. So I will be using one of those today, and maybe one of these ones, just a tiny one, just to show you can use literally anything to make a little folio. It's the easiest thing to make for your journal. Now we've got various types of cardstocks. I've got some from the previous what's in the basket. It's a piece that's left after we had done the circle, pocket and tag. So I'm going to just cut a bit from here, and I'm thinking, okay, this is a bit short, but it's not an issue, really not an issue. Grabbing a glue stick, and I'm just going to put the glue on here because I want this covered. Now the paper is a little bit shorter, so I'm going to just do this about halfway. It is a bit skew, so I will trim it off there. So I will just do a tiny bit shorter there. Let's see how far we get with this one. With this series, I really gave you a lot of leeway to follow your own heart. Crafting is about doing what works for you. I cannot prescribe that you have to have a certain stamp set or you have to use a certain product. I like to use Scotch permanent glue stick. Somebody else might despise that. So who am I to tell them that whatever product they like to use is inferior or whatever the case might be? You do you. Crafting is about you being comfortable with what you are doing. I just want to line this edge up, and there we go. This little bit that I will trim off this side, I will be using that You guessed it, in another masterboard, or maybe the background for a collage. Strips are always awesome. You can see there's quite a bit there. I just want to get the bubbles out quickly. Quite a few bubbles. Don't worry about this. I will be covering that. So if it's dirty, you can hide that imperfections if you so wish. You can do ink smushing. There's so much that you can do with this. Use what you have and be comfortable. Remember, it's only paper. If you are going to be stressed about it being perfect, it cannot be perfect. Even if I look on a site, say for instance, Instagram or Pinterest, if I see something and I find inspiration, hard as I might try, I will not be able to make it exactly the same as the person that created the original. In fact, even if I try with my own products here and I have to make 2 of them at the same time on my desk here, the 2 will not be the same, because you change things, you feel it differently. And the more you practice, the more it will become second nature for you. It's like our little ones. When they are learning a new skill, we have to teach them how to do that, whether that is tying their own shoelaces, buttoning up their shirts, or things like that. It all needs practice. Same thing with skills. Skills require the same thing. Patience and kindness. Always be kind to yourself. It doesn't help. You are going to be so set on doing things in a certain way that you feel miserable at the end of it. After all, crafting is there for us to enjoy ourselves. You can see this little piece that I use is very skew, but I will be trimming it. So my very patient box cutter is very close to me, mostly close to me. I don't have a very big workspace, but I need to just sort out the area behind me, but I'll get there. Bit by bit, I am sorting it out. So there we go. I just want to check the other part, whether that is straight enough. Let's just see the bottom or the side. I need to trim that. That's a tiny bit askew. Just a tiny bit askew. There we go. That one is done. Now, this would be the paper that will be on the outside. Now, I did fold it this way, and I'm going to open it up now, and then we're going to decorate this side. So this will be folded in. Either way, you can decide how you want it to fold over. Let me just grab a bone folder to help this along and get a nice and tidy crease there. So, for the collage, I'm going to start with some pieces. These are all steampunk. You know that. Oh, I've already put one on a card. So, look at that. I will just be... And a tiny one. Let's see what we will use. Some of them are upside down. I particularly like this one. So, I can start with that immediately. Don't want to cover it too much. Let's see. Look at the bicycle. Isn't that adorable? We need a few a little bit smaller. There are so many to choose from. See, I told you they are amazing. I just love them. And I did print them a few times. I like the glasses. Okay, I don't want this one to move, so I am going to glue this one down back in immediately, and I know where that one is. So normally I would just place my items down and decide where I want to put all my other pieces in the collage. But there we have that, and we will juice it up a little bit. I kind of like that one also, but we need something there. But I don't want to cover this one completely. There's another bicycle, and yes, we will find quite a few doubles. As I told you already, I have printed these ones numerous times because I love using them. Oh, I like the clocks. Wait. Oh, there's a hat with a clock. That's kind of amazing. I like the oval. I like the microscope. That's amazing. Now, if you find there's pieces that just don't fit in, nothing stops you from filling an area with a piece of paper. Now, already I know that I would need something to just fill up that area. So let's do that quickly. And yes, it's cute, but who will know that? Nobody knows, and nobody cares. You do you. Again, I'm cutting before the glue is dry. But there we have that one. And now we can add this microscope. And I like to do it this way. Yes, it will probably drive other people nuts, but sorry for them. I like putting the glue to the things that I will be gluing down, and not vice versa. And I can also not see myself using paper that could have been repurposed. That's why I use the cellophane packaging material over and over. That if I want that one there, and we need something in there. This one can easily go there. And we're not finished yet. We will put probably something in the middle. And if we put that one there, we still need a piece of paper that side. So we need something else. Not another one like that. We already have one. Oh, I like this one. Oh, the thermometer. Let's see. There's too many nice ones. Honestly, too many nice ones. Let's put the thermometer there, but I need to cheat again. We need a tiny bit of paper that side. So let's do that. It will be covered. I just touched that, so it's sad that I put some glue on there, but it will be covered. Nobody will know. And yes, that's the thing. Sometimes we have to embrace the imperfections. And I should have just checked, but there we go. It at least is up right. Now to decide. Do I want to add that one or this one? Or both of them? And maybe we need a little bit of paper that side too. Should have probably checked beforehand, right? And putting glue on there. Turn it over so that we can... And this one is now a little bit too short. Let's see if we can maybe still lift this one without damaging it. If we can, it will be perfect. Because then... we'll put a bit of ink there. Trim the excess off again, just because there's glue on it. If there were not glue on it, I would have left it to dry. I like this one, I really do. But we wanted it there. So there we go. Like always, this is not planned. I just think of what can I add to the journal, and then do this. I almost glued this down upside down. There's a piece that it doesn't have any paper, but it's not an issue. I will be using some ink to just camouflage those areas. Now for this one, we can add that. That's quite nice. I really, really like that one. Let's see. But this is also gorgeous, but then I will cover half of this. Let's see. What else is there? We need something. That finger is quite... Oh, I like the keys. The keys. I love it. I like those two tiny ones. Oh, we've got that too. There's so much that we can choose. And you might go like, oh, take that one, take that one. Maybe you should scream a little bit louder so I can hear you clearly. So many. Look at this one. Isn't it exquisite? Really, truly amazing. Okay, I can go through this forever and just beat about the mulberry bush. So let's see, which one would it be? This one. We can maybe add that one there. And I will be adding this with some double-sided tape. I'll be cutting this into strips so that it's just easier to attach. Just cut it in strips. It's the normal rolls that I buy. I do have some of the pre-cut squares, but I must say they frustrate the living daylights out of me, especially when I'm trying to add them and I first have to add glue or stuff like that. Let's just go into frame so you can see how I add these little strips. Just some space in between. We will need another bit, especially on the end. One in there. And this I've done a bit longer, but it's not a problem. I'll just cut this into pieces and add that there. And on that side. And then I need a tiny bit there. A very thin slit piece down there. And I just moved the backing strip. There we go. Let's remove this. Yes, a pin would work better. I told you my pins are normally disappearing on my work table, never to be found again. I should actually put a magnet down and just keep on trying to put it back on the magnet after usage. Now here I just need to cut that bit off where I had put this too far out. I'm going to add that one there. I don't want to cover the whole earth now, but there we have that, a bit of a layer. And then I think the globe should be added there, but also with a bit of dimension. So let's see if this will work. And we need another piece. Another piece. There we go. I'll just trim this one in half and add that. Let's see if that one will fit. It will. And yes, you're right, the squares will probably be saving my time. I really truly have some, but I just don't like using them. Every time I need double-sided foam tape, I actually revert back to these. That one now moved. Let's just get him back where he needs to be. And there we have that one. And that's it. Now for the back of this, I just want to trim the top part. There's some, there we go. That works. I want to add some ink. And as always, you know, I prefer vintage photo. Just want to get these beauties back in the box. And I also want to ink that one while we're at it. Let's start with this one. This was on a craft cardstock. If I have to guess, about 180 or 200 GSM. And I'm seeing something there that is also over the edge. There we go. There's no paper in that corner, but it's actually camouflaged. I will bring it closer so you can see there. So that one you will also not see, and the one in the corner. And there we have it. We can do the inside too. It will just hide that white core between the layers of paper. And for the back, I'll show you now. This one is also a little bit skew. Maybe needs a bit of trimming there. And then we'll just ink the edge just to hide that white core. So there we have that one. Now here, what are we going to do here? I think a tiny little pocket on this side. And for that, I will be using some of our paper that we have already. I will be using, what do we have? What do we have that we can use? Do we have any scrap? I think this should do. So I don't want to, that one is done, we can add that. Let's just cut this one, I'll just move that out of the way a bit, just a tiny bit. So not too big a pocket. And with this you can't really see except there is text. So we will have to cut this one about there. Let's do it there. Get this lined up, and I am a tiny bit out of frame. Please just bear with me for a moment. We've got that. Now we will trim it this side. So line it up any which way you want. I'm going to slice it there and turn it. And I'm doing it there so that we still have the steam tractor going on, or steam engine, whatever it might be. There we go. So this can still be used for anything. Might not necessarily be for this project, but it is still available. So for the pocket, we could have added that just as it is. It would have been so nice, but I like that. And I'm going to take this one, lining it up and slicing it diagonally down. Easy, easy pocket. Very, very easy. Now, this might be a bit high, but low. Let's just round the corners. Again, we will use the, which side? And again, sorry, I don't know if you could see that, but I placed my paper into the little corner rounder and trim it again. And then it is much smaller, quite a bit smaller. Now, remember, it opens like that, so we want to add it this side. Like that. And before we do that, let's just see where this ends. We need a bit there and a bit there, so pencil. Just grab a pencil for a moment. Show where that ends, that one ends, and maybe there. Then, you know, if you cover that in, you should be safe. Now, I'm going to grab another piece of paper that was also from the previous project, just to cover that part. This is a tiny bit small, so I need to go this side. Unless I'm not worried about, but I am, that needs to be covered. So, to add that, I'm going to just do this diagonally. No, I'm not worried about the placement of the pocket afterwards. It's just so that I know where the paper should be. to cover this white piece. Don't open now. I don't want glue all over. So, grabbing this. Yes, you could have sized it before the time. It's just easier for me to do it this way. Then I can still go in, use my box cutter, hold it as flat as possible, cut that, fold it in, and there we have that. You can turn this over and simply now just cut it off with your pair of scissors. And you might see that on the edge there might be paper. You can go in and just trim that. And I hope I did not do this to the wrong side. If I did, that will be so typical me. There we have that one. Now to add the glue, I will not be using glue stick for this. I prefer a stronger glue, as they will be somewhere on the pocket. So we will just turn this over and add glue on this side. Not too much, just a tiny sliver of glue. And also at the bottom, so that we can add this tiny pocket to this little journal insert. There you have that. As easy as pie. As easy as pie. Give it a moment to dry. Just finish this off with our ink. Make sure there's ink everywhere. That's pressing down. Ink the edge. So the outside is done. There we go, there we go, there we go. And the inside. Look at that. Now we can add maybe a little black, just to bring in that black of the journal. Shouldn't be too difficult to do that. Small pocket. Let me just see. About 10, I will just attach it to one side. I want this side to cut this side. Not too wide. So I'll trim it there. That's too wide. This one should be perfect. Now, if you're unsure of the size, let me quickly show you a method that you can easily use. The pocket goes that way. We want to add it there. Now, I'm going to not put glue on the side. I'm just simply going to put glue on one side, just there. And I'm going to put glue at the bottom here. Just a tiny bitty, not too much. Otherwise, it might seep out. Turn it over. Place it where it should be. Grab a baby wipe and just wipe the excess glue, if any. Turn it over, and then you can snip this part off right there and lift the corner and just put a bit of glue on the side. Not much. Again, just that tiny thin bitty of glue. Excess glue, wipe it away before it dries, before it messes up a project. There we have that little pocket, and as soon as it's dry, we can add something in there. On this side, you can make a tiny belly band if you so wish, so that you can add something else. So what will we use? What do we have that we can add? This is perfect. I'm going to cut this off. Just want to line it up. And then, not wanting to cut that steam engine's nose off, I'm going to cut there with a very, very long blade. So unnecessary, but don't worry. Same thing. We're going to put glue on top. And there went the glue. Can you imagine that? Just a bit of glue. You can see the white from my printer on this, but nobody will see it. It will be hidden out of view. Add a bit of glue. Add this in the middle. Oh, I should have just inked this a tiny bit, just to hide the white. And where we cut it, we will then ink it again. Just the edges so that we can hide that white. Before the glue dries, let's put that down. And make sure that it is level, straight or flush. And then I'm going to turn this over and just trim this little side. There we have that part. Now we ink the edge. Don't move it. Don't move it, Krista. Don't move it. And there we have this part. Ink that and a tiny bit of glue. Remember, don't lift the opposite side, as if you do, you have to add more glue there and use the or do the gluing process again. There we have that. A little tiny belly band. How sweet is that? Too sweet for words. a tiny little folio that you can insert anywhere in your journal of little things. Let's put that one in. It's a cute little card. Quite futuristic. It almost looks like a, I don't even know what's the word, some sort of rocket. Quite interesting. I like it. I really, really like it. So that can go in there if you wish, or it can go into this pocket if you so wish. Of course, lots of journal space. You can add something there. Let's make something quickly that we can add there. This will be too long, but we can always shorten it. So it needs to be about, I'm just going to guesstimate here, about that bit less. Sentiment stamping. When the box gets too full, I normally sit and stamp on an afternoon, sunny afternoon, if I don't want to venture outside and work off that scrap box. So for the same thing for this that we're going to add there, what I'm thinking on doing is, we have used a stamp set before. I wonder if it's still here on my desk. I'm just quickly going through. I'm afraid it's not. I was hoping it is still, but it's not. It's one of the white sets, but it's not here. Not a train smash. Could have been nice if we had that one. Let's pick one that we will put on here. Let's see, what will we add there? Oh, look at that, look at that. Isn't it gorgeous? There are really too many gorgeous ones. You want to use them all. Which one did we use at the outside the globe? So I can actually use the little clock. I was just thinking I can add the clock just here on this little bitty band, just to finish it off nicely. Look, it looks as if it was made for that. Exactly the perfect width. Look at that. Now this one, let's pick that. And you will find sometimes you go through your little projects and you realize, but wait a second, I can still add that one, or I want to put this there and that one there and all sorts. It really is amazing how you find new little things that you want to add to your project. I like this gentleman. I truly like this gentleman. You know what? I need another piece of cardstock. Luckily, I always have some here. I'm going to glue this one also down. And then we have two things to add to this journal today. That was unplanned, totally unplanned. These two are planned, but that and this one is definitely not planned. Planned in the sense that I announced what I was going to make, but I found that one, and it's perfect. So let's quickly fix this. Just make sure it's right flush. Our trusty card to burnish it. Let's trim that part. Just get that excess off, and there we have a tiny little card that we can add. Now, if the white is bothering you, you can easily change that. Remember, Distress Oxide ink, antique linen would be a perfect fit. I'm just quickly going to grab a little cellophane packaging, and I can put that on top. It doesn't matter. It will be protected. I like the unevenness. It is a solid color, but I'm not putting it on everywhere in the same density. So some I just tap lightly, others I go in double. So there might be lighter spots, and that is perfect. I don't mind that at all. And then, of course, remember, this takes a moment longer to dry. This is a fusion of pigment and dye ink. So for this one, look at that spider web that the glue is making. I'm going to do the same here. Very so lightly in the corners. And here, working more mostly on these parts at the bottom. There we go. Turn it over and do the same side, because one side will be white and the other will have this antique linen on. When you use the dome applicators, it's just so much easier to apply the ink than with the flat foam applicators, especially if you want to blend your inks. Oi, I just folded that one. Heartbreaking. Let's just sort of straighten it. Now there we have that. So we're going to glue this one down. Just put ink right to the edge. Press it into the glue stick, making sure it makes contact, and in the middle too. And now to just line it up, and that was almost glue on my project. That would have been totally disastrous. Just wanting to get it a bit straight before I press it down. Move it up a little bit. And there we have it. Little card. How nice is that? Lots of space to actually journal. That one is bending a bit, so let's just get it straight. Paper cardstock doesn't have any memory, so let's just straighten it out so that it can hold its shape again. This one can go in there, but we need to first ink it. I almost forgot. Let's close this one. Vintage photo, my favorite always. Just ink the edges so that it can just pull everything together, especially with the dark edge of that little ephemera piece. If you haven't done so yet, you can really go check out Digi and SVG Designs for You. They are on Etsy. The for you is a 4 and a capital letter U. Digi and SVG Designs for You. And there we have that. Now this is a tight fit, so if you want to be like that, we will put you in a different spot. And then we need to find a place for Mr. Here. Also, ink the edge. I like that grunge. If you don't like the inked edges, it's fine. But trust me, once you get hooked, you will miss it once you don't do it on a project. It does not look rounded off. It just gives that something extra. So it was a white piece of cardstock. We glued down the ephemera piece. We have that. And there we have Mr. Gentleman. That can easily go in there and fits nicely in there. Isn't that gorgeous? So there is an ephemera piece that we can add. A journal insert. So I will just be putting that one side for now. And then what happened to that other tiny one that I wanted to make? I'll use a piece of cardstock. I stamped on it the other day. I just want to ink the edges. You can glue something on there. Can easily be added anywhere in the journal without any havoc. I won't glue it on that side. I'll do it on this side. That is quite a bit lighter than the front. Remember, this is my own printables. Let's see, what do we want? A little square piece. That one will fit perfectly. And again, I just want to prove to you that it wasn't planned, but there you will always find something that you can add to your projects if you look in your stash. Now let's just get this one sort of centered. Doesn't have to be perfect, but I think it needs to just come a little bit this side. There we go. And burnish it. Isn't that awesome? Now, if you want to, you can cut the corners to mimic that, and then we will just have to ink it yet again. So there we go. And it jumps everywhere. Easiest thing to just do those 4 corners again, not even dipping the ink in the ink pad, and it's perfect. So there we have it. Let's quickly have a quick flip through to see if there's anything that's jumping out to us that we still have to add to the journal that is really, really needed. If so, we can add it, quickly make it, add it. We still have some scrap cardstock pieces. Just want to close the glue, otherwise the tips will solidify. So let's see. That one can go in there. I almost put that one in there as well. In here. What else? There's so much that you can add. I have a few pieces extra that I haven't made on camera. I always have something that I make so that when I have a project, I can then just use it. So let's see. I'll bring it closer. This was an old tissue box that I cut open just to have another storage container. I'll just move this one to the side. Let's see what we have in here. There's quite a bit in there. I like to create whenever I have 5 or 10 minutes. There might be some extra things that we can add. Some little tags that we can put together. I've used some double-sided foam tape to position that one and lift it a bit. Added some little metal studs. That is a gold color. Little tag that I added a little tab on top with some, we call it hessian, others refer to it as burlap. There I've added some metal pieces, quite a few flat ones that we can use. The professor, the flying piggy. Again, the flying piggy is some easy one, literally an easy one. This was actually from a different, not project, but total different field. Let's see what we have here. We have this one that we can add. Let's see, can we put it in the pocket? Perfect space. It is a coffee dyed little cardstock piece, and that can go in there. This is a flower with some birdie on top. Again, coffee dyed. So let's see what else we can add here. We need something for the belly band. This is a card that I made or white, but it will still fit. It will just give us that bit of a contrast. Lots of journaling space. Let's add this one to the belly band. I think that will be awesome. Let's put that in the belly band. And you see the contrast with the black in the back. I think that's awesome. I just see that this one lifted off the corner. Let me just glue that little bitty up and tidy it up. There we go. Good thing we sometimes check, because they do sometimes climb off. I like this one also. Explore, put some eyelets in it. Tape, which is from a embossing folder. Some stamps. Explore, I think, was also a texture plate of some sort. Paper that I crumpled. Let's put that one in here. I think that will look awesome in there. So there's lots that you can add. This time around, I did not make everything with you on camera. We have another pocket there. Let's see what else we can add. We can add the professor, again, using that same type of stamps with some metal pieces here. I just want to bend this a little bit so that this can fit in there. So let's just get this one in. Will it fit? That might be the million-dollar question. Let me just get a card in there just to guide it open a bitty. Pry it open, make sure it can take something. And would you believe it, I just tore or bended that piece of cardstock over. Remember, the black cardstock is not the thickest ever. Okay, this is sadly too wide, but we don't have to worry about that. Where is that beautiful belly band of ours on the other side? Yes. So we will swap it out. Come here, mister. We will just move you to another side. Too far, too far. Let's put you that side. Is this one also lifting? Oh, the corners. And there we have it. We can add that one. There's still a nice contrast. We can, this is way too big. This is also too big. This was a little file folder, a little folio insert, journal insert that I made. You can also call it a mini folio, a journal insert, or a folder. It opens up, leaving you with some journal space there. And it's got a magnet in it. Some tags with pockets. And of course, you can write on the back of these tags as well. But this is also too big. I think I like the postcards. Let's look at the postcards. What do I have there that we can add? More of their things that I used that can be added. Maybe these little tags. I'll just take this all out. And then the big ones, obviously the big ones we won't add to this project. So let's just put that to one side. We can add anything still. Literally anything. We've got so much that we can still. This is one of those impress lists that I cut out. Obviously, it die cut and embossed at the same time. I added a piece of ribbon and just backed it with paper so that there's journal space. So it is a tag and an embellishment all in one. So we can maybe add that one there. Let's get something this side. I love the professor. This is a postcard. So let's just slide it in there. See, he's there. We've got those pockets already added. This there. That. Turn it over. We need something for this belly band. Let's add this postcard. Simple, some stamps, some collaging, and a faux belly band. I mean a faux postcard. Let's add that to that one. You can add whatever else you want, but this is slowly filling up. Before we add too much, let's just see if this will fit into the box and close up. There we go. So these ones can easily be kept for another project. I just want to add our folio insert that we made today, and that way we know that we are finished. I don't know if you realized, I did take out the journal cards from the other day. We will add that quickly as well. If you maybe realized that they were missing, now you know why. I will add this one there so that we have some nice introduction. Then we will add maybe that just to hide the fact that it's the professor. You might think that that is now one thing. When you take it out, you realize there's now a double layer there. So there we have that. The side, remember, there's a flap. You can add any one of these there for now till they start writing in the journal. And we can add a little flying piggy there, which is just too gorgeous. And you can see the contrast there. Turn it over. We can have another one here or another two there. And then we still have to find a space for our last journal card. Can be there. And then this tiny one that we just made today. We can add that one there maybe. just different. So there we have it. Remember, if you're going to gift this to somebody, please make sure that you are gifting them a black and a white pinwheel, black so that they can write with the others. Next week, in the next session, we will be then looking at how to get this closed. You will see that this is really getting thick, so I might have to take some of the things out, which is quite sad. You know, you can fill it up so easily. That one there. Let's see what else. Let's take the professor out. I keep on putting that thing up. I'm taking out all the professors. That's a stamp set from Stampers Anonymous and Tim Holtz. That can go in there. This is still fine. Let's just check what else. If this is better now. Yeah, that will be better. That will be better when we close it. Still a tiny bit too thick. But there we have it. So in the next session, we will be finalizing the outside of our box and decorate that, so that this can become the piece de resistance. So thank you for joining me today. If you tried this for yourself and you followed along making your own steampunk accordion journal, please tag Wobble Crafting on social media. I would honestly love to see your makes. That way I can also know that you were inspired and that the videos are actually useful. If you want to see more content like this, give me a thumbs up. If you haven't done so yet, please hit that little notification bell so that you can be notified whenever I'm uploading new content. And as always, I will appreciate it if you subscribe to my channel too. See you back soon. Goodbye.